when lockdown started, to be honest, I'm actually the president of the United Chiropractic Association, so I wasn't surprised, and it was just leading up, but it was still a shock because Boris made his announcement. I think it was the 23rd of March, and pretty much said, that's it, we're locking down, and then sort of overnight, like our phone went into meltdown, our email, and everything. So it was. I was surprised how quickly it moved.
I thought, how are we going to survive this? We went into survival mode because it wasn't just us thinking, are we going to have a business going forward, but we had all our clients who were saying, what am I going to do? So we deal with lots of people in the creative industries, but a lot of people in the film industries, and immediately in March, all the studios, TV, all the film studios such as Pinewood, etc., they were all closed down, and people were saying they're not going to open until at least September. So everyone had no income.
Dealing with a pandemic goes very much in stages. So the first stage for me is, I think it felt globally and individually like we were all hallucinating. Then comes panic, then comes fear, then comes worry. And when you know that leaders of your country, like Boris and Prince Charles, had corona, we all had a lot of concern, and there's a lot of unknown. And then you move to the next stage, which is you want to do your bit for the community. I decided that it would be very insensitive of me to commercialise my product when so many of my customers who were retailers were suffering. A lot of my clients are in Italy, and firsthand, and they were all ahead of us, and firsthand I had calls from my friends, because now my optic world, they're my family and friends as well. They were hearing ambulance sirens outside their window daily, and they were like 3 weeks ahead of us. So for me to only have self-interest and just think about, look, Kevin, was not the time to do it. And I thought to myself, if I don't reach out and talk to my customers as people on a personal level, that will be remembered long after the corona has gone. So that is what I did.
We had a lot of people that wanted to take up the bounce back loan schemes. Initially it was very hard because the banks were not cooperating, and it wasn't until the government stepped in and said they will guarantee the loans that people were getting the loan.
I found out about the bounce back loan. I applied for it immediately. I had it within about 3 days, and I'm not going to say I spent it for 3 days, no, but I was very surprised how quick it was, how easy it was to access. And I know everybody criticises the government, but do you know what? They've never had to deal with this before, and I think that they have been pretty good.
All the businesses are suddenly getting contact with them and overnight these government schemes were put in and things were moving very quickly. So administratively, it was a big challenge for them, we understand that, right? But it took us about 3 months to get it. And to be honest, our local MP, Mike Free, was very helpful, right? Got in contact with him to help out, and because I feel for the people, the council suddenly had to go from working, I suppose, in an office to working at home and deal with loads of different inquiries. But we did eventually get it, which was really helpful.
To be honest, I think the processes were really straightforward. I found it very helpful personally. I mean, everybody had their own point of view. I mean, in terms of the benefits and the grants and XYZ, they're pretty straightforward. So I think, kudos to the government for that. Some days are like really busy. Obviously, we were like IT and mobile phones. So I mean, whatever was broken, that was a backlog, and which had to be sorted. And then because people are working from home, designing their home offices, XYZ, we were quite busy. But then there are days where like you don't know what to do. There's nobody here. Like there's nothing that can be done. But I think it's an unprecedented thing for all of us. So trying to make the most of it at the minute.
The problem now is what is going to happen next. So I've told my staff that we need to be really ahead of the game now, dealing with our clients and their affairs, because I'm saying to them that there will be another lockdown. I want to know that if there is, we have done everything that we can in advance.
Sometimes the biggest hurdles give you opportunities. So I first of all made a rainbow-inspired NHS Kevin, and those have been incredibly popular. Not just for the NHS, also for the gay community and the colourblind community, but it's an international symbol of hope, isn't it, the rainbow? So I very quickly made a print, actually I was always going to do it, but it spurred me on to have a rainbow Kevin. And then I made a Le Kevin sanitizer gel kit.
The fact that we had ongoing relationships with our patients, our practice members, was really helpful. And people have come back, a lot of people were really, really helpful. Really glad when we reopened. And so they really want to come back in and get back under care again. And people have come back just depending on, their personal circumstances, how they feel, what they're comfortable doing, or the level of concern that they have. People have gradually come back. We've obviously had to make changes with making sure that everything's COVID secure. So there's obviously been, again, that was another logistical headache. It was making my head hurt beforehand. Okay, what do we have to do? Because, we're having to retrofit things to a degree. So we're putting in screens. We were already incorporating enhanced hygiene, social distancing. So what that's done is reduce the capacity. We had to change our appointment book. So we're probably running about 60%.
I feel like we needed time to absorb. We've never been through anything like this before, and I think you need to go through the time to absorb and adjust and accept, and not to mourn on the past. People have to leave it. The past is the past. It's gone. It's finished. And when people say go back to normal, I find that actually quite irritating, because we will never be normal. We are different today. We've all had a collective trauma. There's no normal. We're not going back. We're going forward differently. We will, it's cause and consequence, and it will never be the same. You only have to look at inner city. You only have to look at regional cities. People's lifestyle have changed. There've been enormous consequences, and I think it will level itself out and will be different as a result.